And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Shadow Empire, at the bottom around 245. We have 5 decisions. One of which is what to do with those roaming thieves. Oh, and we can now develop a rocket launcher. That's good to see. So one of those choices is, do you want to do something in this meta? And the answer is yes. Give us big rockets on lightly armored chassis with a big engine.
Yes.
Good to see. Ask them to learn the language better. Ask them to learn the language better. All up slave trader A. I feel like our income. We just shot off a bunch. Treasury cash flow. Dividend income's like +6. Yeah, we got like 2,000 credits of revenue over the intern. That's good to see.
Standing by for yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's also overflow is being sold. No, the water that was overflowing is just not going anywhere because no one wants it. Really read the petrol storage limit? No. Okay. Metal storage is unlimited. I mean, I don't know why our revenue is up so high, but it is. Okay. And you we call up for the slave trader.
Roger that.
Buy some more people. Victory point, we are up to 32.7. We are gaining on the podium leader. So I could definitely imagine, well, we're probably not going to win this cycle, win this part. There's a decent possibility we will be in a state where we are the podium leader. Yeah, definitely projecting farther and farther up. I have a feeling this guy's about to disappear, and if he does, then we can just push up a little farther. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay, so we do 2 more of those Xeno Diplomat teams. 1 to you. No, can't do 2 because we only got 1 card, so that's the one we're doing. Let's go ahead and establish another transfer contract. Let's try to establish in this area and see if we can get one on the zone in the middle there. See if we can get like a 500 one to do deliveries to this zone. Quals in the 90s, quals in 100, 80s, 60s, though it's mostly limited due to workers. We're having some throttling down here. Maybe worth expanding your trucks. You are expanding your trucks. Maybe try expanding your trucks.
Yes, sir.
Because if we can get more to the port, right? We're having issues where we've saturated this port. This port could take more, but for this port to take more, we've got to get more to it via truck. This one actually have... Oh, I should probably put a line into here, because we've got a port over there that we can transport to. Oopsie. And we've done the transport contract for the turn, so we'll have to wait until next turn and see what we get. Yep. Construction-wise, out here in the capital, we are being power throttled, which is why we're expanding... Well, not expanding, building the serpentization, which apparently is supposed to finish next turn. Oh, and we build the solar panel up.
Order received.
So the serpentization plant will probably, in theory, be fairly good for a single level. Right, so it's going to provide 165 energy at the very high cost of 600 water, which is, on a water world, like nothing. Expensive to build because it's taking one high-tech part a turn, but once you've got it, it's just costing water, so if you've got abundance of water, water is cheap. We are literally wasting 35,000 water a turn, so 600 water is like nothing. We'll happily take a couple serpentization plants, please, for power. Hopefully that'll increase the power on some of these things that we're being power throttled on otherwise. We'll probably just turn around and continue its expansion. Only get 165, but we could in theory get up to 4, which would be enough to power the high-tech facility at full power. And if you're, I suppose I had this little bit of chat with the Twitch chat right before I started this part up, but if you're wondering why we're up at, like, turn 245, I believe this game is running on slow game speed. Slow development speed. Which is making all the research a bit slower. Which, to be fair, is probably why we're still in the game. The majors have not been throwing nukes around. Because they would have probably started throwing nukes around by this point if it was on... Well, if it was on fast game speed, they certainly would. Because that was around about the point when we were getting nuked last time on fast game speed. But the last time we were getting on fast game speed being on a large size map? Large Hydra size map? What's a Medusa? Large Medusa size map. Where we sort of started to run out of logistics points, and then before we could get the logistics going again, the AI teched into nukes and had fun throwing them at everyone. World population by the end of that game was down around where it was at like turn 140 at a game that we're in like 240. So 100 turns of population growth deleted with nukes. Hopefully we won't have that happening. 246, we had 5 decisions. Either candidate, sure. At some point we're going to have to get more jobs for these candidates, which is probably building up the army. Minor work strike, giving some demands. Transport contract meeting. Could put a transport there, not going to. Could put it there, not going to. Could put it there. No, my first pick. Might pick that choice. Could put it there, not my first pick. Not my first pick. That's actually a reasonable pick. We'll go there. From the capital. We don't want it to be big, but we want it to be long. So 500 points for 40 turns. Schedule a meeting with the aliens. Ask them to help us learn the language. Spies, go to the humanists. So we now, in theory, have point there. So if we can do... First of all, we've been in the transport contract here. And then if we can makeshift port... Okay, doesn't apply to next turn, so I have to wait another turn for a makeshift port. But basically the plan is makeshift port, then nationalize the makeshift port, then we can build the port up over time. We do have a decent amount of money, so let's do some shipbuilding.
Affirmative.
So they can continue to have logistics to handle our transport orders. And yeah, the guy we had encircled there has bit the dust. I mean, we'll still, off of this premise, we're basically going to just slowly push up and up and up as much as we can. Probably will extend the road a little bit. So we've got the industrial power. Because we do have the odd militia unit in here who's marching north with our guys. Construction-wise, it's going to mostly be ports that are being throttled by labor. Well, I say that. Oberhausen will finish next turn. It must have mostly got over its labor issues, because it's almost going at full speed. Solar panel field here... we bad rolled, so it only did a half a turn instead of a full turn due to a productivity issue. But that means if we get a full roll next turn, it should complete. And or it will complete the turn after. Serpentization plant is done. We do want to probably immediately turn around and continue upgrading that, please.
Order received.
And that should be helping, well, didn't help this turn, but it should help next turn with the power. And when are reports going to be done? Estimation on export being done. So the one that we need to do to take over the nomads should finish next turn. Mooncron, which is the island, is next turn. Minos, which is the southern one on this island, is going to be 2 turns. The one that's actually the bottleneck over here is 3. No, 4 turns. And then the capital going to full is going at speed, but it's another 7 turns because it's a full 10-turn upgrade. Okay. Have we acquired the population growth for the turn? No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Standing by. Roger that. Roger that.
I'm going to take a little bit of a proactive move. We are starting to drop the zone happiness here, so let's call you... not call strat card the zone.
Order received. Order received.
I was hoping that would raise the zone opinion a little bit, please. Let's get our militia project out if we can. So we got it there, 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 there. There, there. Oh no, we don't have it there.
Yes.
Drop one there. Zoo project. Capital Island should have one everywhere. Max level. Probably usually block there.
Understood.
Would help a little bit there. $2,000 is quite a bit, so we're not gonna attempt 2,000. And back to the miner. The Xeno diplomat. Work on those guys.
Roger that.
Yep, that's where we're gonna go ahead and cycle the turn. Do I have any cloning buildings? No, we haven't gotten lucky with any of the archaeology to get any of the... I think that's the very rare variety of archaeological sites. And for all the zones that we have, I think we've checked and we've already mined out all our relics at this point. Artifacts at this point. Suppose I can check Limetop. Limetop's the only one we haven't manually checked. Steel around. Steel end 2, 4, 7. 5 decisions. Roaming thieves, roaming thieves. Okay. Yeah, cloning facilities are crazy powerful.
Yes.
I had a game once where I had a cloning facility, and it was enough to make me win the game middle of a war with someone when I didn't take any of their cities, just because of the population growth on my side. That's where we want to unload to that port from the capital. We want like 1,000 points for 42 turns. Okay. Zollenhaben. The temporary port city here has grown large enough to be class 4 minor city. Yeah. Just support the makeshift port, and it's a fairly large city at this point. We don't have the quality of life to support that, so I'm going to say no. Schedule meeting the aliens asked to learn some of the language. Oh yeah, merc camps. You see the army growth here, that 300? That's not recruiting, that's a merc camp. We got a merc camp. Where is it? Here it is. Centaur merc camp. That's where the entire army is coming from at this point, out of that one little merc camp. So the entire army is either mercs or militia at this point. Okay, so let's see. Do we have any stacked guys in here? Just stacked there. I think we only have one hex there, and then we'll probably back out, but that'll be fine. Okay, so I don't think we're obviously going to still take territory off of nomads here. But I don't think we're going to kill, other than these three here, that we're not think we're going to kill any by starvation any more of them, because I think the rest of them are just built up around their effectively what their city is, which is an asset perk. Construction-wise, truck station Minos done, solar panel done. I may want to continue expanding that solar panel. Monkrun's port's done. Nosenhaven's port's done. It might be worth upgrading the Nosenhaven port again, but we'll hold off for a smidge. Minos port's delayed. Should finish maybe next turn if we're lucky. Capital port proceeding at speed, proceeding at speed, proceeding at speed, proceeding at speed, and okay. We'll see if next turn the combination of the port and of the truck station here helping things get to our transport contract cancelled. Okay, we'll need to reset the transport contract up now, won't we? You know, sometimes I should probably read those reports that I get every turn. Got one more turn left, so we don't want you to end. So give us 10 more rounds. That's fine. That's what we want. That's what we want. Nosenkoven. Okay, so I accidentally lost that one because I wasn't paying enough attention. We'll reestablish that one on the next turn. Yeah, in theory we're getting more power, but apparently power is the limiting factor. Paid only 8% of the cost. Okay, so we're getting most of the power here. So not enough to upgrade the power plant, but enough. Before we forget, goal up, get slave
Yes, sir.
traders.
Yes, sir.
Standing by. Roger that. Roger that.
And then we still have enough for a Xeno diplomat.
Roger that.
Oh, you have a low opinion, so let's... strat card you for raising your opinion. It's going to be leader. Special gift to Gus.
Order received.
There we go. That's more appropriate. I suppose we do have enough, so let's go in here, strat card, archaeology roll.
Affirmative.
Okay, so we know there is none in Limetop. No archaeological sites in Limetop. So the only place that we have a reasonable possibility of having some would be in here. So we'll see once we get to the nomads if they got any stuff that belongs in the museum, but it isn't going to make its way there. Okay, so we got decent transport across the island, so if we didn't have... that's probably truck issues. Probably saturating the truck network on the island. Yeah, probably saturating the truck network on the island. Which may fix itself as... no, we got enough workers out there, so it shouldn't be... okay, we'll see. Rosalina commune. Belzier's commune. So I think Belzier's commune again is the one that is, well, it depends on the turn. Some of the turns they're willing to do a victory pact. I think it depends on who wins their election. We have 5 decisions. Here's electric engines. Now the commercial project.
Roger that.
We'll probably pick radiation filters. At some point that may, for better or for worse, may become a thing we need. Okay, so that's our port, so let's get a thing running over to our port from the capital. 1,000 points, 42 turns.
Roger that. Roger that.
Okay, before we forget, let's make sure all the contracts are going. So we got out to you, 10 turns. Out to you for 31 turns. 32 turns. 40 turns. 41 turns. And that'll be another 42 turn one. So all the ports on the island to the southeast have deliveries going to them. That one's probably the smallest, so let's just extend it another, or the shortest duration, so let's just do another 10 turns so we're not too paranoid about it. Alright, so next turn we'll see if we actually have enough shipping out to all these ports to get stuff off the island. If we will know we've succeeded if we start getting colonists shipped off the island. That's for contract.
Affirmative.
See if we get another port. Oh, makeshift port as well on that side.
Affirmative.
And then miners. Xeno diplomat. On the Xenos.
Roger that.
Oh, that's an empty X.
Yes, sir.
That's not it.
Run!
Okay. Slowly pushing them back. What's the construction looking like? No delays. It's good to see. It's always good to see when your construction projects are not being delayed. Everything is going ahead as planned. Could always use more power, but don't necessarily have access to more power. The petrol stockpile is full. Okay, so that's something we want to build more of. Build more fuel depot, please. In fact, we'll go a little ham on the fuel depot.
Yes, sir.
Make sure every city on the main island has a fuel depot.
Understood.
Because I tend to find when we use fuel, we use fuel.
Yes, sir.
Because nice motorized vehicles go through a lot of fuel. Okay, cycle a turn. Selling fell. Oh, probably did, but I don't remember if we did the slave traders for that turn. That's one thing I have over the AI, is the AI doesn't get any of those, like, event things like the slave traders. So they don't get the bad events, but they don't get the good events as well. 10 decisions awaiting us. Militia need extra funds. Okay, we'll give the militia some funds. You want us taking your candidates? Sure. Policy speech. Industry assets reach at least 6
Roger
levels.
Roger that.
Order received.
Military research. So we could do robotic soldier. And actually robotic soldier wouldn't be the worst, especially if we... Well, no, we still have to provide them the ammo, right? So even the laser rifles need to be in supply to be powered. Well, let's backfill the side skirts. Yeah, so that was the design on our rocket artillery finishing. So we now have some rocket artillery that we could get. Himdall waters to transport. So we can go there. We can go... There is probably the best place, I'm thinking. Yeah, let's go there. from the capital. Or like 1,000 logistics.
Roger that.
2 turns. Yes, build the makeshift port.
Roger that.
Learn their language. Yeah, so that was what that design was. I think that was a bunch of heavy rockets that we just developed. And should be a port here. Let's hex. Yes. Immediately turn around and nationalize it. And it is only for 1,000 coming in, so if that one's working, that should risk provide us 1,000 points. Next turn, we'll need to do a makeshift port on this zone. How comes the construction on that port? It's done. We're still having issues transporting across the route, but I think that has more to do with workers. Yeah, we're gonna have 72%, 73% coming across there. Due to the destination having, well, previously having 1,600, now having 1,880. So it's just getting the workers across to power the port. Quayflet isn't particularly productive, but then we just built the makeshift port, and then next turn we'll have to hire people to work it. So it'll be a thing in a bit. It's not a thing yet. Okay, 70% saturation on that line. So that's probably truck issues. Though we can see... No, we got columns from somewhere, but not from there. Got them from over here, of all places. Okay. So we haven't sorted out the logistic issues on this island yet. Still being throttled. Primarily due to trucks, I'm thinking. Probably continue to expand those trucks.
Roger that. Yes, sir.
So the alternative is I could try to build up a rail network on the island. I grabbed the wrong hex for that one. That's the one with the truck hub. Which we would want to nationalize if we were to use it. Nationalize it and then upgrade it.
Yes.
We do probably have the metal, so let's go ahead. Build the rail station here. The railhead here.
Roger that.
And a railhead over here. Actually, no. The railhead wants to be on the port, so we can go to there. Railhead. Got the instructions, and we do rail to there. Oh, you probably actually want to go all the way out there. There to there to there. And you can want a railhead as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll see how long it takes for that rail station to get up. Hopefully that will improve the interior logistics so we can have a little bit more of Bob's your uncle with getting which port to get the stuff out of. And we now have some colonists. So is anywhere on the main island, because that's where we got the spread logistics, ship it to, need more workers. You're good for the moment. You're good for the moment. You're actually finally good for the moment, so is it the capital that needs the workers? No, you and the capital is good for the moment. It says. Well, the capital's good because it's having power issues, so it comes down to, do I want to build more solar panels? Can we afford to build more solar panels? Okay, so let's go ahead and just build some more solar panels. So solar panels are pretty cheap to build. I have the petrol right now. We may not have the petrol in the future, but I think it'll be fine. Let's just upgrade the
Order
power plant.
received.
And then we can dump everyone here as workers. 800
Order
more workers in the
received.
capital. And I think we've bought, but can always double check. Call you up. We haven't done this lift fares, so
Yes,
we'll do
sir.
his lift fares quickly.
Yes, sir.
Standing by. Roger that. Roger that. Standing by.
Union Chief General.
Standing
We have any
by.
other zones? Nothing in that one. Let's go up Courtesan as well, which we're less worried about.
Standing by.
Nothing there. Let's deal with the monster.
Yes.
Earned himself the title of Monster Hunter.
Yes.
Do anything for now. Okay, and then let's go ahead and put out 2 sets of Xeno diplomats. 1 to
Roger
you,
that.
and 1 to you.
Roger that.
Because I do think the easiest and quickest way to victory right now is going to be probably integrating all the miners. Last I checked, the miners were worth about 15% of the victory points. So we do get all the miners and then probably sign a victory pact with one of the majors to get a diplomatic victory. And then the next victory after that is I can, instead of doing the diplomatic victory, just invade one of the neighbors. To get both diplomatic and military victory. So I hope everyone that is watching is enjoying. This is, so at this point, this is more of a thinking game than a tactical game, because we're not really doing very much combat. Still around 250, we have 5 decisions. Finish the side skirts. Plea of friendship. Yeah, it's a bit of RNG with the improved language. I change your propaganda. No.
Understood.
Let's. Yeah, let's grab the robotic soldiers. Giving us some demands. Oh, interesting. So apparently these guys, we've learned their language. So let's ask to get some mercs. Oh, and these guys apparently landed. Oh, okay. Get some mercs off of them.
That.
So I don't know how much of that is that we don't share a border with them, as far as not being able to integrate them. Okay, they don't. Neither of them particularly like us. We do have good language, so we'll probably just start swapping over, trying to bribe them going forward. Strike cards, MTH, makeshift port.
Affirmative.
And then we'll re-put on the Xeno diplomats.
Roger that.
Oh no, I only have one of the lesser ones, so we'll just do the one.
Yes, sir, we're definitely taking gunfire. Run! Run! Run!
Okay. Okay, we now have a bunch of surplus logistics there. That's good to see. Okay, strategic deploy them down there. We're gonna do... That's the wrong menu. This menu. Guards, upgrade. So we do have an upgrade of the guards, so we're gonna do a mass upgrade from the operational HQ. 3 to 4, all of them
Affirmative.
upgrade. Good to see. And now we're gonna start strategically moving them across. Oh, that's all we can get. Actually, no, not across. Can we get the HQ across as well? No, the HQ is going to have to wait for the next turn. Which is fine. So, construction-wise, how's the construction coming along? Completed the railhead, completed the railhead, completed the railhead. Completed the power field in the capital. Completed the port in Solhoben. So the port shouldn't be... Well, the port's the issue next turn. It might actually just be the shipping lane that's the issue. But we'll have to wait until next turn to see that. 100%, everything is proceeding as planned, which is always good to see. How is private economy? The private economy is doing surprisingly well. I've been trying to keep government high the entire time, and that hasn't been working. So the commerce has been pretty high the entire time. So we got lots of private assets. So for example, the capital, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Basically, what? Basically three full tabs at the bottom here are private economy in that zone. This zone, it's like another 2, and so on and so forth. So we've got a decent private economy. They probably do have debt, so one of the changes at some point changed the private economy such that, so for example, there's no debt in the capital, but often if they got things they want to build, they can go into debt to do that building. So for example, over here on this island, these guys are in debt, but that's because they got stuff they want to build. So if they can afford to borrow to build the thing, they will. So the reason why the guys over here aren't in debt is because they don't have anything they want to build. So they've bought everything they want, and now they've got a stockpile of money for the next time they want something. So these guys have debt, but these guys have something they want to build. These guys have debt because they have something they want to build. These guys don't actually want to build anything, so they have no debt. Well, they have a little bit of debt in this case. Though that's possibly because they've built what they want to using debt, and now they don't have anything else they want to build. I'm surprised this one actually doesn't have a debt. Probably, presumably, doesn't have enough saved up to take out a loan to buy the thing. Has a debt, has a thing it wants to build. Probably the same thing here. Probably just doesn't saved up enough money to... And this one has, like... It saved up 380 this turn. It's got a reserve of, like, 590. So it just doesn't save up enough that it can take out the loan to get the building. And I think most of the zones I'm like investing like 5 per turn. That's before counting for taxes. I suppose presumably taking away from it, right? So I'm taking 61 in service tax, 161 in income, another 13 in sales. And then I'm only putting 5 back in, so I'm not necessarily contributing much to the economic growth, but the economic growth apparently is still positive. Or mostly positive in most of the zones. Yeah, so like this one's 53... No, 83 credits positive. Yep. So let's go ahead and cycle the turn. This is probably where I'm going to go ahead and put a part break in. And I've lost track of how many parts we have, so I'm probably going to go ahead and record one more part. I have been apparently streaming for about 4 hours, so this next part I think should be the last part. We'll try to keep it 30 to 40 minutes long. Not expecting anything super interesting to happen over this intern, just seeing if there will be a cliffhanger for the beginning of next part. I think the cliffhanger for the beginning of next part really is going to be, now that we have that expanded port up, we're going to slowly pull brigades off of the friendly border to push over to the Nomads border, and once we've got a solid border with all our units, we're going to declare war on them and probably try to drive the Nomads into surrendering. Steel land around 251. This is what we'll pick up at the beginning of the next part. So if you're watching on YouTube, that will be tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a quick stretch and then start that recording. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. Bye for now.